A lot of folks have already indicated that they either are going to run, are thinking about running, are consulting with people about running, may run. All kinds of things are going on. And so I think that we need to talk about it. And we need to talk about it now. When I announced, and I announced the day after the mayor made his announcement, and for those of you who may be wondering, no, I did not anticipate the mayor making the announcement that he made. And I don't think many people did. I think most people didn't. But once the mayor made his announcement, the next day, I consulted with my family, and I made the decision. So as it turns out, I was the first to formally announce after the mayor made his announcement. For a long time, people had said to me for many years that I ought to consider running for mayor. And my response was, if Mayor Daley retires, I would seriously consider running for mayor. I entered politics when Harold Washington ran for mayor for the first time. I am a product of that era. I didn't engage in politics because I grew up in the 31st Ward where Tom Keene was alderman. He was Father Daley's right-hand man. He was the chairman of the Finance Committee. And as a college student, I did a lot of organizing and decided early on that the way to affect social change was not through the electoral process, but rather through community organizing. And I did it. I did a lot of organizing around different issues. I developed a lot of programs. Some of those programs are still in place today. But then Harold Washington came along, and that then was the first time that I got involved in a political campaign, in the primary. And, of course, after that, then I continued to work with the mayor and was appointed chairman of a Latino commission that we established at that time. And I then decided that, yes, the electoral process could be put to work for people, and that change could take place by way of the electoral process, and that we could shape public policy. I found myself running a number of programs and then asking myself many times, who creates the rules for these programs that I have to run on a day-to-day basis, and kept looking towards Springfield, the legislative process in Springfield, where through the legislative process, public policy was established. And so I learned, as a young man, I learned the connection while being on the front line between the public policy process and the legislative process, which of course results in public policy. And I went to Harold Washington and I said, I want to run for, and I'm going to run for the state senate. And Harold Washington wanted me to run for alderman because he was engaged in a battle over the city council. And I said, well, I really want to deal with public policy, and I think the best place to do that is in Springfield, in the legislature. And so I ran. He did support me. I ran against an 8-year incumbent, Democratic incumbent in a primary, who was at one time, I think, the driver of Tom Keene when he was alderman of the 31st Ward. And we won. We won. We ran a grassroots campaign. There were a lot of things happening at that time. There were a lot of exciting things. We won a grassroots campaign, and I won with 54% of the vote. And I ended up serving in Springfield for 20 years in the state senate. We started our first campaign without any money. I had $300 out of my own pocket. We didn't have a political organization. What we had was a lot of people, and of course, just about every single committeeman in the area was opposed, worked against me, including at that time Congressman Dan Rostenkowski, who was one of the heavyweights in the area. But we won that. And prior to that, I was involved as a lead plaintiff in the redistricting case, the very first redistricting case. As a matter of fact, I like to tell the story that I met Mike Madigan when I left the federal stand in a federal courtroom after having testified against his map. It was the Democratic map, and we were able to show how gerrymandered, how they gerrymandered the community, and basically we were able to, under the Voting Rights Act, establish a case and create the legislative districts that afforded the community an opportunity to elect representatives of their choice. So there's a lot of history there. Another thing that I did during that time, once I was in the Illinois Senate, is I formed a coalition, worked with Representative at that time Paul Williams and Tony Young, and we created the Cook County Judicial Subcircuits in Cook County, and that has led to the election of more women, African Americans and Latinos and gay and lesbians to the bench. And so I've been involved with 2 other redistricting cases, and as a result of the redistricting cases, even though I was a member of the Legislative Black Caucus for 15 years, we were able to elect more Latinos to the Illinois General Assembly, and once the number increased, then a Latino caucus was formed, still working in conjunction with the Black Caucus on many issues. And so I'm one of the founders of the Latino Legislative Caucus in Springfield. During that time, we worked on a number of issues. I sponsored a lot of legislation in many, many different areas, but my focus was on education and continues to be on education. And so out of all the candidates out there right now, I am the only one who has been elected citywide. So that distinguishes me from the others. And during my time as city clerk, I've worked on modernizing the office. It's a low-profile office, but we've been able to modernize the operation. We've created a document management system because the city clerk's office is responsible for maintaining all the records of the legislative branch of local government. And so when I came in, we began the process immediately of making sure that we have greater access to all these documents, to the ordinances that are passed. So we revamped our website, we created a search engine, we put all our journals online, and now we're just months away from having a system that will give you access to every ordinance that's filed and substitute ordinances that are filed in real time. We also, during my time, put the city council meetings online so that you could, in real time, watch the city council meetings on our website, our webcast. Transparency has been my top goal in the city clerk's office, and we've accomplished that, as well as modernizing other components of the city clerk's office. And so when I decided to run for mayor, I did so feeling like I felt after 20 years in the state senate. I've done my job. I'm leaving behind an office that is in good shape, and sometimes I wonder what is there left for the next city clerk to do. Not a whole lot, but that's okay. We feel very good about the accomplishments there.